This provocative exploration delves into suppressed psychological research allegedly stemming from Freud's controversial studies on female behavioral patterns. The content examines theoretical psychological mechanisms behind attraction, relationship dynamics, and emotional responses through historical case studies and modern research parallels. It presents controversial perspectives on gender psychology, intermittent reinforcement, emotional contrast, and psychological attachment theories. The narrative weaves together historical anecdotes, psychological concepts, and relationship advice while maintaining a dramatic, documentary-style presentation that challenges conventional dating wisdom. There's a locked vault in Vienna that hasn't been opened since 1923. Inside lie manuscripts that could rewrite everything you believe about attraction, desire, and the feminine mind. What if everything you've been taught about women is a carefully constructed illusion? What if the real answers have been hidden from you your entire life? Most gentlemen navigate romantic waters completely blindfolded, not due to lack of intelligence, but because they've been fed elaborate fiction. Society whispers sweet deceptions, show vulnerability, worship her essence, pure intentions triumph. Meanwhile, courtrooms overflow with shattered dreams. Isolation plagues an entire generation. Brothers wander through partnerships like lost souls, confused, defeated, wondering where they went wrong. Hidden within Vienna's dusty archives lay documents that would revolutionize everything we thought we understood. The father of psychoanalysis had discovered something extraordinary, something that challenged every romantic fairy tale ever told. His private manuscripts revealed patterns so consistent, so undeniable. They expose a genuine machinery driving feminine desire. Consider the aristocrat who abandoned everything: wealth, status, security, all for a man who barely acknowledged her existence. Or the celebrated performer who destroyed her career, chasing someone who treated her with calculated indifference. These weren't isolated incidents. They revealed a hidden psychological architecture. Research from leading universities confirms what those buried files suggested. Women gravitate toward emotional tension, not comfort, not predictability, but the electric space between safety and uncertainty. Modern neuroscience reveals why. The brain's reward system fires most intensely when pleasure arrives unexpectedly. She creates conflict not from cruelty, but from biological programming. Her unconscious mind probes for psychological strength. Will you crumble under pressure? Will you chase her approval desperately? Or will you remain unmoved by her emotional storms? The weak fold, the strong endure, and something primal responds to that endurance. Throughout history, legendary figures understood this instinctively. They didn't conquer through submission. They magnetized through controlled unavailability. Ancient queens didn't seduce through weakness. They challenged, tested, demanded proof of worthiness. And men became obsessed proving themselves worthy. Harvard researchers discovered something fascinating. Unpredictable rewards create stronger addiction than consistent ones. The human nervous system craves what it cannot predict. This explains a paradox every man has witnessed. Nice guys provide steady affection. Bad boys provide emotional roller coasters. Guess which pattern proves more magnetic? But seduction isn't the ultimate goal. Transformation is. The most captivating men don't just attract women. They unlock hidden versions of who she could become. They become mirrors reflecting her untapped potential, not through empty flattery, but through challenging her to evolve. Ordinary men offer escape from reality. Extraordinary men become reasons to confront it. They push her boundaries, question her limitations, force her to examine who she's settling for being. In that friction, something ignites, something addictive, something that rewrites her entire self-narrative. There exists a critical window, usually spanning 3 to 6 months, where attachment shifts from psychological to physiological. Cross this threshold successfully, and her attraction becomes hardwired. Miss it, and no future effort recreates that magic. Emotionally charged experiences carve deeper neural pathways. The brain prioritizes memories, mixing excitement with uncertainty. Routine pleasures fade. Intense contrasts endure. This is why comfortable relationships often fail, while turbulent ones prove unforgettable. Master the art of emotional peaks and valleys. Take her from laughter to profound conversation, from intellectual stimulation to physical exhilaration. Within single evenings, predictability murders attraction. Intensity preserves it. Perhaps these truths disturb you. Good. Discomfort indicates you're absorbing genuine knowledge, not comfortable myths designed to keep you compliant. The world overflows with pleasant lies. It desperately needs men brave enough to see clearly. Why was this research buried? Because it threatens established power structures. Because it reveals uncomfortable truths about human nature. Because it hands ordinary men extraordinary advantages. When you understand the game being played, you can't help but win. Stop providing emotional flatlines. Start creating memorable experiences. Break patterns of predictability. Master controlled unavailability. Become synonymous with growth, not comfort. Challenge her to become who she's capable of being. The choice stands before you. Remain blind to these dynamics or embrace the map that reveals everything. Some knowledge isn't meant for everyone, but it was meant for those ready to use it wisely. The question remains, are you prepared to see what others choose to ignore? Consider the surgeon who saved lives by day yet craved chaos by night. Or the diplomat's wife who abandoned diplomatic immunity for a street artist's unpredictable affections. These patterns repeat endlessly because a feminine psyche operates on frequencies most men never learn to detect. The ancient texts spoke of this phenomenon. Medieval troubadours understood it intuitively. They didn't sing of stable providers. They sang of dangerous lovers. Men who rode into battle, who risked everything, who embodied the delicious uncertainty that awakens something dormant in the feminine soul. Modern dating apps have created a generation of men who believe attraction operates like a business transaction. Provide enough value, display enough resources, demonstrate enough reliability, and somehow desire will follow. But desire doesn't negotiate. It responds to forces far more primitive than logic. Watch how she reacts when you disappear for 3 days without explanation. Observe her energy when you return with stories of adventures she wasn't part of. Notice a shift in her voice when she realizes you have a life that doesn't revolve around her approval. This isn't cruelty. This is awakening. The pharmaceutical industry profits from men who don't understand these dynamics. Anxiety medications, depression treatments, erectile dysfunction solutions, all treating symptoms of a deeper problem. Men who've lost their psychological edge, who've forgotten how to be the storm rather than seeking shelter from it. Every great civilization understood this principle. Spartans didn't raise weak sons. Vikings didn't celebrate emotional dependence. Samurai didn't seek validation from their women. They embodied forces that women naturally gravitated toward, not through domination, through presence, through unshakable internal strength that required no external confirmation. The corporate world has feminized masculine energy to create better employees, compliant, predictable, seeking approval from authority figures. But the same traits that make you a model worker make you invisible to feminine desire. She doesn't want another employee. She wants a king who happens to have a job. Psychology journals avoid publishing research that challenges social programming. Universities suppress studies that reveal uncomfortable truths about gender dynamics. The establishment benefits from men who don't understand their own power, who remain dependent on systems designed to harvest their productivity while starving their souls. True confidence isn't loud. It's quiet. It doesn't need to prove itself because it knows itself. It doesn't chase because it attracts. It doesn't beg because it commands. Not through force. Through magnetic presence that pulls everything toward its center. The men who master this understanding don't just succeed with women. They succeed in every arena. Business, politics, creative endeavors. Because they've tapped into something fundamental about human psychology. The power of controlled scarcity. The magnetism of authentic self-possession. Your grandfather's generation knew these secrets instinctively. They didn't read books about attraction. They embodied it. They built things, fought wars, took risks, created legacies, and women followed them into uncertain futures because uncertainty with a strong man felt safe in security with a weak one. The choice isn't between being good or bad. It's between being forgettable or unforgettable, between providing comfort or creating excitement, between being her escape from life or her reason to live it fully. The decision rests entirely in your hands. Drop a comment if these revelations resonate deeply. Share if you believe other men deserve to know these truths. Because once you see the psychological architecture, you can never unseen it, and your relationships will never be the same again.